Last time we were here at Donington with Leyton's car, we installed our 992 GT3RS camber blocks, and the aim of that was to get even more front axle camber so we can get even more grip out of this tyre and out of the car. The weather wasn't great on the day and we ran out of time towards the end of the day as well, so we couldn't get any baseline data. It wasn't really worth putting any times in on track. So we're back here today with Leyton on a nice sunny Donington day full of Porsches, and we're going to get out on track and see how these upgrades actually perform. As standard, the 992 GT3RS has a lot of adjustment out the factory, so you can adjust your ride heights, your anti-roll bar settings, and your camber and tow front and rear. So there's a lot of movement in the chassis to get some really nice settings. The one thing we found as a real holdback on this chassis was the front axle camber. We were really struggling to get past negative 2.8 degrees, and really, especially on track, you want to get more than that to get more grip out the front, reduce understeer, and have higher overall cornering speeds. So we developed our 992 camber block. So really the camber block on this chassis is the only upgrade you're going to need. Every arm is monoboard as standard. You've got aero profile wishbones. The only thing holding this chassis back is that front axle camber. So with that block installed, there really is no other upgrade suspension wise you need to bolt to this car in particular to get a lot of performance out on track. So Leyton's going to head out now. He's going to be doing a few laps out on circuit, so we're going to catch up with him after a few laps and get some feedback from him, as his driver feedback is phenomenal as always, and we'll hopefully get some onboard footage for you and some lap times if we get anything off the data. So we're here with Leyton now, it's lunchtime, he's been out all morning thrashing this around Donington. So just a bit of feedback from you really on how the car feels, like difference to before, how it compares to your 991, anything you can give us really.
Well, I mean, obviously, as we all know, it's a massive jump on from the 991.
Yep.
Mainly down to the double wishbone front suspension and obviously the aerodynamics that they've added to the 992. I think one of the biggest things I've noticed is definitely braking is significantly better with a slightly wider cross section on the tyre. Obviously you've got the aerodynamics at the front helping as well. Yep. But obviously we knew from our previous experience with the 991 and also the experience with the Michelin Cup 2 and the Cup 2R tyre was how much camber we needed to run. Yep. And obviously we discovered that you needed to exceed the camber limits of what the actual standard car was possible of doing. So we obviously threw in your camber blocks, yep, which has allowed us to exceed that 2.8 degrees of camber and move it now towards 3.4, I think at the moment we're at the moment. And now the car's just got so much turn-in, so much stability, yep, but also it's extremely strong and firm and safe under braking.
Yeah, cool. So we're going to be taking a look at your GoPro footage, obviously, which we'll get from today. We've not seen it yet, but just run us through roughly a quick lap, like any key areas on track where you're feeling a big difference over the 991, or just somewhere where it's blowing your mind, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously the 991, we developed a fantastic car over the years of development and playing around with that. And, we kind of almost thought we were at the ceiling and, not knowing really how close this car was going to get to it. But obviously, after driving it this morning, it's completely blown the 991 out of the water. And there's places around the lap where you'd find, like through Hollywood and on the entry into McLean's, where the 991 was flat, but just flat, and you really had to thread the needle. Whereas in this, it's just comfortably flat, and you don't really have to think about it. The car is just so hooked up, so planted, sits on the tyre so well, and then the aerodynamics, doing their thing, just elevates this car to a whole new level.
Nice. So obviously today is a pretty special day. It's actually a Porsche only day. Is it a Porsche RS only day or just a Porsche only?
Well, I mean, if you take a look around the pit lane, I'd say it's a Porsche RS only day, but no, exactly. It's anything Porsche is allowed here today. The roots of RMA 35 years ago stem back to Porsche, so we kind of like to honour the loyalty to that brand, and it's a brand that I'm super passionate about myself. So yeah, it's a Porsche only day. We run 2 of them a year, but what sets us apart from other track day organisers is we allow overtaking on both sides. So it's very straightforward. You stick to your line, and the faster car goes offline to overtake. So that just kind of allows freedom of movement on track, but you don't get the bunching up and the frustration of a driver maybe not moving out the way because he's not looking in his mirrors. You can just go about your way, and if you're faster, you pass and off you go. Yeah,
and I think it's worth saying on your days especially, like the level of metal that comes to these days is often pretty mind-blowing. Like if you're not used to seeing it, it's just full of supercars out on track, thrashing around.
We definitely have a very good client base with a lot of nice stuff, and they want to use it, which is the best thing. Instead of them being trophy cars, they are proper cars, and they get them out and they use them as their intended purpose.
Yeah, and they keep out of your way. You're flying on through.
Yes.
But a great day testing today with Leyton at the wheel of his 993RS, and it's been a really nice way of showcasing what these blocks are capable of, and also what the settings are capable of that the camber blocks allow you to achieve on the front end of your 3RS. With these settings installed on the Cup 2 tyre, we've had a lot more turn-in, way less understeer, and a lot more mid-corner grip, which is what's shown the onboard footage from before, how much faster out there it is than a lot of the other 3RSs on track today. The next steps for this car are going to be moving across to the Cup 2 R tyre. We're currently on the Cup 2 tyre. The R is a lot closer to a slick tyre than the Cup 2, so a lot more grip generated from the tyre alone. This is the tyre that we used on his 991.2 Visac in previous years when we've been setting lap records for a road legal car. That's what we're ultimately going after in this chassis. We're going to go hunt down those lap times and hopefully set some new records with this car. When we move across to the Cup 2R tyre, we are going to have to increase the camber even further than we're at now. Due to the additional grip in the chassis, it's going to be physically rolling onto the tyre even more aggressively, requiring more static camber to get all the grip out of the tyre that it has to offer. So we're going to be giving the car another setup when we move across to that tyre to make this chassis even more aggressive and get even faster lap times out of this car.